Good evening, this is Kuro. Got a clan battles for you. Going over the matchmaking, it's an Asian clan. They're running Montana, double Des Moines, double Henry, Stalingrad, and Daring. The map is Mountain Range. It's clan battles, so it's a domination map. Cuter's running Montana, double Des Moines, double Salem, Moskva, and Mishima. And we're going to get into this thing. Kind of the lesson for this game that I kind of see as a learning opportunity is the dangers of letting a destroyer roam mid, or basically roam and control. Destroyer can't really control terrain, but it can deny terrain. And that's what's going to happen over the course of this game. I'm going to do an initial spotting run up to B cap, see if I can potentially get any sort of shot where my team can reset them and give us a point advantage on A. Honestly, it doesn't usually work out, but you never know unless you try it, you know. Yes, the dinosaurs are awake right now. Apparently a bird flew by. But I'm basically driving up here and I'm looking at RPF and I'm starting to think that there might be a destroyer mid. And I'm just gonna start doing a little loop, and I get one spot. Guys are already telling me, nah, we're not gonna get the reset in time, so I'm just gonna start going to C cap. Kind of my torpedoes are coming up, so I am tempted to launch on this target. And I'm just being slow, patient, kind of working my way gently over to cap. If I run into the Daring or something, I want to be able to basically bail out. That's why I'm not taking a really sharp angle over to this island, and I'm just kind of lollygagging in here. I do pick up one spot on the Stalingrad. And that's going to tell me that, well, there's one Des Moines. I knew something was behind this island. So, from right here, this is kind of a position that a lot of destroyers find themselves in. You've got different options when you're coming into the cap here. This cap, my team at this point, is saying that the Daring might be playing the 2-3 line, and from my perspective, I just am taking a safe route into C cap, see what I can spot mid, launch some torps. Now these torps have kind of a dual purpose. It's unlikely that I'm going to hit anything, but they may zone things out where it's going to watch my backside, where if guys push up into this direction, they're going to push into those torps, and they may eat them trying to get a shot on me. So there's kind of some thought there with the torpedoes about how you're going to use them to basically buy yourself some breathing room. Another common way to do it is if there's like a Des Moines that's behind this island, stagger your torps. Shima's got 3 launchers, so you can, launch just before you get into the cap, launch 15 seconds later, launch 15 seconds after that, and it has the effect that if that Des Moines goes to poke you and he's got hydro, he sees these torps coming, and he may not be able to poke you and shoot before you can pick the cap up. Or it may just suppress him, he's unable to shoot at you, and you're just dealing with other ships shooting at you, and you'll take less damage. So, a couple little tricks there about how to use your torpedoes as kind of a zoning tool to suppress targets and not, you know, as a direct damage dealing source. So my battleship's telling me, see if that Des Moines gonna spot and or poke out, and you know, lo and behold, he did. I'm beyond 10 kilometers. That tells me the second Des Moines here, and that's all of their radar accounted for here. Now I do take a big shot here. Honestly, it's a mistake backing this far up, and I'm going to try to get tucked back into cover here. You can already see my team's punishing this Des Moines, and at this point, the one radar is down. This radar can't detect me. Stalingrad's outside of radar range. Now, one threat to me is blind fire. They know that I was in this vicinity. I'm just gonna relocate, and I see a lot of destroyers get reset, and there it is. Destroyer players, when you are playing these levels of opponents, expect blind fire. If you have one puff of smoke into a cap, you smoke up, you know, right here, and there's just one puff of smoke right in the cap, expect that one puff of smoke is going to get the hell saturated out of it. Now you can use that to your advantage and make some different counter plays. One of them being, you basically drop your smoke, you leave the one puff, and then you back just beyond the smoke, and that way you can still spot. But anybody that just randomly blind fires the smoke, you can be sitting to the either side of the smoke or in front of the smoke, and you can just use that as kind of a magnet to draw fire. Obviously, if there's a CV in the game, I don't recommend that, because a CV is just going to be able to park a plane right on you. But it's a tool in the toolbox. So I guess this game I'm going to be covering a lot more different things than I originally intended. But hey, that's good for you guys. You can rewatch it and kind of pick things up. Now this starts to be, you know, the lesson plan for this game, and that is, you see the daring. Okay, at this point, radar wise, I have the Des Moines here whose radar's on cooldown. They have a really beat up Des Moines that's, you know, run off somewhere, and that's telling me that I've got the ability to push up here. And there's the one Des Moines. That's why he wasn't able to shoot at me. He was sitting on that side of the island. And I'm going to push up here, and basically this battleship's objective, at least as we're seeing it, is to basically push up here and try to get behind our Des Moines and flank this guy and basically either push him out or blap him. And so my job here is to deny that ability to push to their Montana. So I push up here within reasonable, you know, torpedo range. I think I launched somewhere around 8-9 kilometers. I'm using 2 sets of torpedoes, and that's because I want to get a little bit better angle because this guy's turning in. Now my team's telling me, come up here and smoke our Des Moines. So I'm cutting sharply back over here. I'm going to lay a smoke curtain that's going to be like a little hook shape here, so my Des Moines can work on this guy. I see that the Montana repaired the flood. I'm anticipating this guy's not going to push with his DCP on cooldown, so I'm just leading him slightly to the stern. Especially, I don't expect him to push with smoke being popped right here. This leaves him pretty vulnerable. Now, I do see this Des Moines here. Not happy about that. This Des Moines pushing up. I'm going to be radared for a bit. But I'm just going to kite back. I've got vision on the Montana for my Des Moines. You can already see shots coming in. Right here I'm calling at least one torpedo hit. And it's actually going to be a second. Now this is critical because that's 2 floods. I got him in the bow and the stern. That one set of torps just did crippling damage to this guy. I'm calling priority target on this guy, and I'm dumping torps on the Stalingrad because he's full health and he doesn't have hydro. He's another vulnerable target, and I'm just kiting back right now. Their daring has stepped on ACAP. Our Moskva is going to try to work that guy over. But at this point, there's a lot going on here, so I'm going to talk off the mini-map. We have basically a full court press on ACAP. The objective of these guys is basically to pin our guys into CCAP in C so they're not able to reinforce A. One of the issues with this comp, at least in my opinion, is this. Stalingrad is amazing at if you can get crossfire on ships. You should not be seeing your battleship and a Stalingrad right together. You know, you need separation. Otherwise, ships can just angle, you know, at them or away from them and do, you know, much better at mitigating some of the damage. Now you look at how Cuter's kind of responding to this push on C. We had cheated our Montana heavily over to CCAP early on in the battle, and he's actually pushed the 10 line, and this is going to be a nightmare for this Des Moines. This Des Moines committed to CCAP, and he's got a Salem and a Montana basically right in his face, plus another Des Moines that's going to be able to work him over as well. Their other Des Moines is running for his life. Over here, it's much more defensive for Cuter. You've got the Moskva trying to work down this daring that's stepping on A, and then the double Henrys fighting a Des Moines and Salem's out here, with these two basically trying to pin down the 1-2 line, so we still have a crossfire between these guys and our Moskva, and it's going to be a heavy fight over here. Now here, why am I shooting? Gonna slow this down. I'm shooting, you see their guns, they're all distracted. They're looking at my team here. You know, every little bit of damage counts. You know, maybe I can bait this guy into turning into one of my torpedoes. I see that I'm not gonna get the best, you know, angle on these torpedoes. He basically had turned into them. But you know, that, in my opinion, this is a pretty solid play. Nothing can really shoot me right now, and all I'm doing is giving away my position. Speaking of my position, take a look at the crossfires. You have, you know, my Montana, my Salem's, my Des Moines can shoot over his shoulder here. We've got crossfires here with the Des Moines. We've got our Moskva able to shoot these guys. But you also have my torpedoes. And what's going to end up happening, these guys are starting to fold into C to try to support their Des Moines here. And what's going to end up happening is these guys go to cut across the map. You see how it starts opening up for me. These guys are turning broadside into my torpedoes. This guy just turned. I'm expecting him to pick up more speed. That's why I led him slightly in front of the indicator. Simply because, you know, a ship that comes out of a turn, like I'm turning right now, I'm slowing down, I'm straightening up, you see the speed accelerate. Same principle. That's why you sometimes need to lead turning ships, anticipating their turn to stop and them picking speed back up. I'm also watching this Montana. I've got next round of torps coming right now. I do get radared by the Stalin. And these torps are actually aimed at the Montana. But what I want to do, I want to push up here and I want to try to get on A cap. I smacked the Stalin with 2 torps. Even with that little lead that I put on it, ahead of it, I almost missed that. That should tell you how, you know, the ship really bleeds speed in its turn. And you need to, you know, be aware of that and accommodate that. The Daring's going to open up on me. I've got an HP advantage. I'm basically just going to start shooting this guy right back. My team does finish off the Henry. The Daring's now trying to smoke and get away with his life. I'm going to pop smoke here simply because I'm being detected from the Montana. And, you know, I have it, why not use it? The Torps intended for the Montana, finish off the Stalin. And I do cap A. The Daring gets briefly spotted here. Unfortunately, the Montana puts down our Moskva. I'm going to lay a wide set of torps here, basically at the indicator, then one short, anticipating this guy hard turning into the cap. And then I'm just going to let him know I'm still here. And, you know, that is, that's the end of this game. I hope there was, you know, kind of some different lessons about how you can utilize, you know, your torpedo angles to crossfire targets and deny areas. I mean, once I took that position, you know, my torpedoes started basically causing a nasty crossfire where, you know, they got to angle at somebody, and they're angling at the stuff that they can see shooting at them, and that opens up targets for my torpedoes. And that's a really basic sort of play style when you're playing a torpedo boat with a competitive team. Is if you can float your destroyer, and by float I mean let that destroyer roam free and let them look for crossfire opportunities, you can rack up an insane amount of damage. I think this game was something like 150,000 damage, something like that. A lot of it on the flooding. I think it was like 38,000 damage on the flooding or something like that. The damage isn't important. What's important for you guys to understand is the concepts of pushing up there and you know, understanding the lay of the battlefield where you can utilize your torps to the best of your ability. Now I'm rambling on right here, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this one off. This one's had a few different gems for you guys as far as different things that you can do to kind of watch your back in the caps, how to suppress targets with torps, how to leave little fire and torpedo magnets to where you hopefully draw fire away from your ship. A lot of sneaky little tricks like that, as well as the general lesson about area denial. So if you got any questions or comments, leave them below. I hope you guys are having a good night, and I will talk to you later.